What up? It's 92.9 WDUP. We run this home of timeless hip hop and R&B. It's a pleasure to have this woman on here with us right now. A legend, Rhonda Smith, bass guitar, played with some of the biggest names. We're gonna get into all of that. How are you? Thanks for checking in with us, Rhonda.
I'm doing much better now, Mike. Thank you so much for having me. Like I said, big fan of your work, sir.
Nah, thanks a lot. It means a lot. So let's talk about the record. Won't Come Back. Real smooth record. You know, I love the vibe on it. Love the video. You look great in the video. You talk about it a little bit.
Oh, you know what? First of all, I wanted to hear more fretless bass in contemporary music instead of jazz and fusion all the time. I wanted to hear it back on the radio again like it used to be. So I thought perfect match for this broken love song that I wanted to write called Won't Come Back. It's like a futuristic, kind of classic R&B love song about a love that was just so perfect, but it wasn't based on truth. So it didn't last in the end, and it won't come back, basically.
Yeah. Make sure you guys go check that out. It's on YouTube. You catch it right now. Oh, she got her guitar out. I know the people who listen on the radio can't see it, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, we'll have the video.
Come on.
Oh, let's go.
Come on now. Isn't that a haunting melody?
Oh, sounds great. Yeah. So I had an opportunity, you know, before I even asked that, what made you go with the bass guitar? You know, I'm sure you kind of, you know, probably tried different instruments coming up, but like, what made you gravitate towards the bass guitar?
I was really competitive at probably about 11 years old with one of my brothers who was about 15 months older than me. Yeah. And everything he did, I wanted to do. And he brought a bass guitar home one day and told me not to touch it. Yeah. So that's since then, that was it. That was my instrument. And thank God it wasn't, you know, a French horn or a clarinet or something jacked up, you know, because I probably would have that. But it was a bass.
I'm saying, what might have been like the worst instrument you use? Like, you try like a kazoo or something, or, you know, a trombone? I don't know.
You know what? That's crazy that you said that, because I have two brothers and my older brother plays trombone.
Oh, really?
But see, I wasn't trying to be competitive with him, thank God, you know. And my sister played clarinet, so it could have gone any way.
Yeah, my apologies to the trombone community, man. I just had a back trombone. Nah, cause you know, we had to take in middle school. I had to take like a music class, and I went with the trombone, and I just kept making the same sound no matter who we had. So I kind of have, you know, my gripe with trombones. That's all. But, you know, big up to the trombone. But name something like your favorite bass guitar players. You know, I had the opportunity to actually interview Cool from Cool and the Gang, Robert Cool Bell. He's a bass guitar player. It was a great interview. Big up to him. And, you know, there's a lot of other great bass guitar players out there. Like, who are some of your favorites?
Well, when I grew up, my first and foremost, for sure, Stanley Clarke. He's the man. Stanley Clarke, Jaco Pastorius, Louis Johnson, Larry Graham, Marcus Miller, Victor Wooten. You know, I can go on forever. There's so many. Geddy Lee. A lot of the rock cats too. You know, were big. Chris Squire. When I started playing a lot of rock when I was young. Yeah.
Got you. For those who out there who's not up on game about Rhonda Smith, kind of give you background. You know, you're originally from Canada, Nova Scotia. If I got my facts right, you know, talk about that. How you migrate over to, you know, to the States and end up in Minnesota. You know, I'll let you tell that.
You know, you know, I think I left Halifax when I was probably 2 years old. But people are always surprised when they go there, because there is such a huge African American community there that came through the Underground Railroad and through the ships hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So people are always shocked when they go there to see how many Black people are in Halifax. They go, my God, where am I? You know, what is this, New York or something? It's really a trip. So
first time I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you go, you would check it out and you'll go, what? Where have I been? But I grew up in Montreal, an absolutely wonderful city that was full of music, full of jazz, full of fusion, blues, rock, everything. At that time, everybody supported live music, and it was just the greatest place to grow up in. And In 1996, I still lived in Montreal and was still doing music because that's all I've ever done. I've only ever been a bass player. But I ran into Sheila E through a great friend of mine, Kat Dyson, who were playing together at a NAMM show in Anaheim. And then there weren't as many female musicians as there are now. I mean, it's really been a wonderful opening. So, you know, ladies can see other women doing, you know, what they can do. So they don't take no for an answer anymore. But we met Sheila and we kind of gravitated to each other because there weren't a lot of female musicians there at the time. So she was looking for musicians at the time for Prince's new band. So she gave Prince the tape, and that's kind of how it started. And he gave me a call probably about 2 months after that. They gave me a call just out of the blue and were like, can you come right now? Typical, you know? So I went to Minneapolis, which was super cool, man. He was, as usual, dressed to the nines, smelled good, looked great.
Did he float in the air? I hear like other people experiences with Prince, like he levitates and he floats on air, stuff like that. Does he give up that order to you or not?
He didn't have to float, but it was a major experience that I'll never forget the first time that I met him, because it was just him and I, and we went into the studio, we talked for a while, we played for a couple of days, just practicing. He showed me around Minneapolis. It was cool. When I came out of the airport, he picked me up in his white limo. It was really cool. He wasn't in it, but he had his driver come get me. It was so cool. But it was an amazing experience. And even when I left after the 3 days, I didn't have the gig then. He didn't tell me that I had the gig, but it was really great because he let me play on 2 songs on Emancipation. It was about 95% done then when I met him. And one was Dreaming About You, where he let me play, you know, the same instrument, fretless, and play a solo on Dreaming About You, which was really great. And another tune. So when I went home, I thought, oh, you know, maybe I didn't get the gig, but I got bragging rights because I got to play 2 tunes on Prince's new record. But about 2 months after that, he called me back and asked me to come. So from there, of course, I went. And I lived in Minneapolis for about 3 years, 3.5 years.
Yeah, so like you purify your soul in the lake of Lake Minnetonka.
I didn't have to. It's so cold down there. You purify yourself walking outside in the winter. Okay. So I'm from Canada, and it's so cold.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah, we're not that up here in Connecticut. We're not that far away, so you know, we're right in the vicinity, Canada. So I know how.
Yeah, but I think they're on the other side of Manitoba or something. So and Minneapolis is flat. So when that wind comes through there, good luck. It's like Chicago. There's nothing to hide you from it.
Yeah. So let's pivot back a little bit to the relationship with Sheila E. You know, I know you kind of like brushed over it, like y'all met, but like, how did you actually link up with Sheila E specifically? And, you know, how did you guys build that relationship?
Yeah, you know, we did a NAMM show, not a NAMM show, but in Anaheim, a Music Mesa. We went to Germany after that 3 months later, and she was there again. That's the German version of the NAMM show in California. So she was there again, so we gravitated again. And through the years, we've just been friends, you know. We had the group Co-Ed, which was all female group, some of the same members in it that we played with. I've played in Sheila's Fifth Element group, which is a fusion group. Years ago, we used to go to Japan and go to the Blue Notes and the Cotton Clubs and play out there and do all that stuff. So played on many of her records, played with her throughout time. We just kind of gravitate to each other and done a lot of projects with her when she was, let's say, band leader, and she was pulling in people, like played with T.I., shows with T.I., with Sheila, picking who she wanted in the band for the band. Did stuff for Beyonce with her Austin Powers promo, the Work It Out and all that stuff she did with Austin Powers. We did that with Sheila too. And I mean, it just continues. Tons of stuff with Prince. It's just that's my girl, you know? Yeah.
Hey, our younger listeners, their ears perked up when they heard Beyonce talk about that. You said, so you was part of that song that she did for the Gold member, Austin Rivers?
Yeah, we did. We go. We did all the morning TV shows for her after that came out, the Work It Out stuff like that, which was really great. And of course, I was able to do that. I call it monumental because when I went to the Grammys years later with Jeff Beck, a couple of years later, when we were in the dressing room at the Staples Center and waiting to have our time to go, the Grammys was playing. They were playing the tape over and over that we did with Prince and Beyonce. That concert that we did at the Grammys. So I mean, that was just amazing with Beck. Yeah. She's a badass.
Yeah. So working alongside Jeff Beck. When what I hear, you got to perform in front of the Obamas. You know, talk about that a little bit. You know, that'd be crazy. So you show your grandkids, your great grandkids, all that. So.
You know, I got a funny story. Nobody believed this, and I haven't told anybody this, but first of all, I'm a big fan of Obama, and that was just absolutely wonderful. Barack is a huge fan of blues. I had no idea that he was a huge blues lover. So we had a rehearsal at the White House the day before the event, and basically it was just tech people who were in the particular room that we were playing in. It was rather a small room. You know, it didn't really hold a lot of people. It wasn't meant to be a large crowd. And lo and behold, there were no security people. There was just tech people. And here comes Barack Obama. Well, we're sound checking with Jeff Beck, and it's just us. He just walks downstairs in some flip-flops, pair of jeans, and a sweater, all by himself, and just takes a seat and starts watching because he likes blues. So we got the opportunity, you know, to go up to him and talk to him. There was no security around, nobody. I mean, it was absolutely so cool. So that's my best story about him, that I had no idea that he is a major blues lover. You know, much respect for the concerts that he put in, that they put on in the White House. They were really amazing.
Yeah, he really embraced music when he was in office. Like, he actually bring a lot of people that you don't see that often, especially with the other presidents. You don't want to hear what they play anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, but you work with all these legends. You know, Chaka Khan, Erykah Badu. You know, Patti Labeller. You know, we go on. You know, you got any like crazy tour stories that you can actually say on air? Like, you know, I'm not gonna jam you up and try to get you in trouble with nobody, but you know. You had to have some wild, like Rick James story moments or so out.
Oh man, let me tell you something. So many, but no, I think I'll keep that. But I will tell you that I've met some of the most amazing, amazing people, especially at Prince tours. You know, everybody came out. I remember one time I was on his bus talking to him after the show, and Serena and Venus came on. You know, because they wanted to meet him. So I mean, it's always somebody amazing, from you know, P. Diddy to Dave Chappelle to, I mean, whoever is always there. So it was really, really amazing.
Yeah, one thing I'm always respect for Prince, mentioning Dave Chappelle. You know, Dave Chappelle did the whole Prince skit, whatever, or the Dave Chappelle show, and then he used that for the album cover of Prince. I thought that was clever. Like, how was like Prince's sense of humor? Like, was he like, you know, he could like laugh at himself and, you know, have a good time?
Really,
or was he uptight?
He was hilarious.
Really?
Hilarious, ridiculous sense of humor. Absolutely. Would laugh at himself too, but would laugh at everybody else first. So yeah, he was a major jokester. Absolutely.
Oh, so he'll cut it up on somebody. So somebody take a joke at him, he'll shoot right back.
Absolutely. He'll probably cut up on you first before you start.
Oh, you started. So yeah, let's talk about anything you got upcoming. So we talked about the record Won't Come Back. Is that like just a single you just putting out, or do you have like an EP or an album? Any project coming out alongside that?
I've absolutely got an album coming out later next year, but I'm taking my time with it. So probably early 2022, I'm going to come out with another single and with another video, and kind of just spoon feed it out right now. And I want everybody to know too that there's a video out. They can go to YouTube. They can definitely go to my channel and check out the video. And on Black Friday, we're going to drop a B-side lyric video, like they used to do back in the day with a B-side, right? So we're going to do the B-side video on Black Friday. So we hope that people really dig it.
That is dope. That's dope. Absolutely. What do you think about this current era? Because you've been in the music business for a minute now. You know, you got to see its ups and downs, its changes and everything like that. How do you feel right now, music as a whole? You think it's in a good place? Or you kind of like, oh, back in my time, or, you know, back in my, golden era, I would,
I think that anytime that people are able to be creative, it's a good thing, first of all. But there's a big difference, artists now, we have to really think about how we're going to monetize what we're doing, because it seems that people aren't really into buying records anymore as much as they used to. So this is a problem. And if you can't tour, how are you going to make any money? And it's kind of like we're in a society where some people think, I don't want to pay for music. I shouldn't have to pay for music. But then again, they want to turn right back around to you and go, and where's your album? Yeah. Dude, it costs money to make an album. If I can, what?
I'm losing money.
Somehow it's not making any sense here anymore. So in terms of that, I think that it's rather jacked up and it needs to change. Because I think there's only certain people are getting taken care of, but it's a 1%, you know, we're maybe getting the P1 radio, we're getting big, you know, big radio. And first and foremost, I want to say hats off to the brothers and sisters in hip hop and rap who are getting paid. I think that is the bomb business. Hats off, about time. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into your dream collaboration. You dealt with a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean? I ain't got run out names again, but you know, you work with a lot of greats. Is there somebody that you want to work with that you haven't had a chance to work with yet?
Probably, man, tons. I mean, I love to work with Drake. I think he's amazing. That'd be crazy, you know. So many. Pharrell, much respect for Pharrell. So many, and there's so many who have passed that I would have loved to work with. I would have loved to work with Miles Davis. You know, I would have loved to do some stuff with George Duke. Goes on and on. So many. I'm just really blessed who I've been able to play with, and been able to play with two of the most, I think, prolific guitar players, I think, in history. You know, being Jeff Beck and Prince, who are just amazing. And as you can see, it's still hard for me at times to talk about Prince in the past tense.
That's really good. I know. Yeah, and it's been some time now, but yeah, it still feels, you know, like it's like fresh. It's crazy, but you know, he's one of the greats of all time. So, with you and Jeff Beck, you guys have any more plans working together moving forward? Like, you guys have any?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's probably a new album on the horizon for 2022, and we're going to be touring in May, starting in Europe, back in England, and doing some dates at Royal Albert Hall, and some things that we were supposed to finish up, you know, 2 years ago that have been consistently postponed because of COVID. You know, so it's crazy.
How did you manage through COVID? You know, were you still able to work on your music and, you know, still be in a creative mode, or you just like in a malaise or something like that, like a lot of this world?
That's exactly what I did, Mike. It gave me the time to write, and that's why I wrote Come Back, and that's when I wrote it. You know, I got my iPad and started banging around with GarageBand, just sketching stuff, you know, and then started going into Pro Tools and pretty much did everything in my house, except for, you know, having my co-producer that I've worked with for years on my last two records, and a co-writer with me, Joey Somerville in Atlanta, AKA Papa J Says. He's my guy for all the sounds. He gets me. And we put Lil John Roberts, Bad Boy, on the drums, on it. So other than that, I did everything in the house. I didn't really leave my house at all. We did everything mobile, you know.
That kind of sounds like, you know, an artist's dream right there. You could just be in your safe space and make music and just black out. And
it worked. It really worked.
Hey, let's talk about some of your songwriting. Do you songwrite for anybody else, or it's just like, I'm keeping all this fire for myself? You know, how does that?
You know, I write for anybody who wants it. So yeah. I'm absolutely.
As far as production, do you are you like very hands-on with the production of your music as well? I mean, I know you're guitarist yourself, but it's, you know, just all the elements. Like, are you very hands-on with it, or you just do your part?
Very much. Although I trust my partner very much, so I cut all the vocals in my house. Most of most of what was there. You know, we had some additions come later, which definitely spruced it up. But the basics were done. I like to have my hands on it as much as I can, and then go and take it out and talk to my partner. It's like, okay, where we at?
So, yo, who's more eclectic? Is it Prince or Erykah Badu? Like, I don't know. I feel like we walk in the Erykah Badu studio, it's like a puff of smoke. But then again, I feel the same way with Prince. There's a whole bunch of pink or purple smoke. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Who's more eclectic?
It might be a tie right there. It might be a tie. You know, they really liked each other. He loved Erykah Badu like nobody's business. We played in a club a few times, I think, in Houston, and I mean, he loves her. He loved her to death. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm not even gonna ask that. Don't mind. All right, let's move on. All right. So, so about rappers. You messed with T.I. You know, did you ever do any other work with any other rappers? And how was it work? How was it like working with T.I.?
T.I. was amazing. We did that television show with him, and he was, super professional, killed it. The band was killing it. It was just really, really fun. I have a rapper that I used on my new single that we're not sure if it's going to come out yet, but we used a badass girl in ATL called Asia Star, who really ripped up ripped up some great stuff on the song. So, I mean, I love it. I don't do it myself because I like to get, I like to get the professionals. I play bass.
Yeah.
I don't,
Who are some of like the new artists, the current artists that you actually like right now? Who you're a fan of? Any of the young people out here?
I like everybody. I like the sound. I've been listening to Doja Cat. I've always been a fan, but not a Justin Bieber. I love his voice. I love his songs. As of late, I think he's rocking it. I love the fact that Drake is taking over radio.
Yeah.
I think that's major. Being a Canadian, as I just named 2 Canadians, right?
Sure, yeah. Home team right there for you. That's home team for you right there. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. So how can people check out any of your past work? Do you have like a SoundCloud or a YouTube page? How can people check out your past music? It's on Spotify, like some of your past work.
Yeah, all my stuff is on Spotify, absolutely. Amazon Music, Amazon. You can go to my YouTube page and you can definitely see my new video. And my social media has got access to everything. And my website, that's Rhonda at rhondasmith.com. Will lead you to all of that.
Yeah, make sure you check that. I want to ask you so many questions. Like, matter of fact, when did you link up with Prince? Like, what era? Was it like in the mid-90s or was it like the 80s?
It was mid-90s, and it was just after the Gold Experience and that Gold Experience band.
Okay. So
it was right after, let's say, Diamonds and Pearls.
Okay.
The most beautiful girl in the world. All of the lusciousness.
All right. So at that time, 'cause I'm a little younger, like, is it like Prince or the artist formerly known as Prince at that time when you got down?
Well, there you go. When I first met him, he had Slave written on his face, and that was 1996. So he was the artist formerly known as Prince at that point in time. Yes, and he was still just getting out of the deal with Warner Brothers that he had.
Did him and Michael Jackson ever make up? I heard like they used to have beef back in the day, like back in the 80s or something like that. Used to clash heads and stuff like that. Like,
I think I heard that too, but you know what? I think that they did squash the beef. And I'm going to tell you a story. We were rehearsing at Center Staging. I think it was the year that Michael passed, unfortunately. We were rehearsing just down the way from him, and Prince was living in LA at that time. But we went back to Paisley to do some rehearsals, and I remember the day that Michael passed because we were in rehearsal in the soundstage, and Prince came downstairs looking very troubled. And he said, let's stop. Let's shut it down for the day. Everybody go home, whatever. Michael's passed. So he was very, very, very distraught about that. He was very upset about it. And as I said, he canceled rehearsal and he didn't want to play anymore for at least 48 hours. So that would definitely tell me that, although I never met Michael with him, but that would definitely tell me that he had definite feelings for Michael Jackson and felt just completely floored when that happened, as we all did. It's just horrific.
Yeah, much love to both of the legends right there. So let's talk about any endeavors you have outside of music. What you got going on, like acting, clothing? I mean, I'm not going to keep naming the typical stuff, but like anything outside of music that you're kind of into?
I'm into finance. I really am into finance, and I'm about teaching my my peers and my brothers and sisters about how to take care of ourselves financially in the music business, starting young so that we know how to invest, 401ks. I'm not necessarily sitting here pushing cryptocurrency, but I'm pushing, even though I own it, but
I do too.
But, yeah. I think it's a smart thing to do. It's risky, but why not take a little bit of a risk on it if you can afford, do what you can afford to lose if that's the case. But I'm into hipping my brothers and sisters to just taking care of ourselves in this business and putting money away and making the right kind of investments and just making people aware of things that we don't get told. If we were told to do those things, we don't have any of those types of representatives or people looking out for us in the music industry. I think there's more people probably in SAG or AFTRA, that are looking out for actors and things such as that. But with musicians, we really don't have a lot of representation in terms of that. And I got really sick of the point of hearing about, famous cats who passed away and they got a GoFundMe, fund.
That looks awful.
This guy who's world famous, he can't afford to bury himself. I'm like, what?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this? I heard like a lot of artists actually say this on other platforms where they're like, there needs to be like a union for musicians. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
I mean, there is a
pension,
union, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't do like that. It doesn't do anything like that. So yeah, I think they need a reformed union, and it's not only that musicians need to be told something, they need to be told by somebody that they trust, by people that they trust, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody will tell you, hey, go buy this, go do this, go do that. Because a lot of people get ripped off by their managers, you know, a lot of people get ripped off by people who are close to them. So it's got to be somebody that people trust and can relate to. But I think that's really a void that's missing in our business. And it really saddens me to see that, especially when COVID came ripping through here and ripped our business completely down, where nobody could work. And, you know, all of these poor people who didn't have their stuff together,
right.
You know, poor in the sense of that I feel sad for them, didn't have a lot of savings or anything. It's tough, man. So I don't want to see that happen all the time. It's avoidable.
Were you always mindful of like financial literacy before you got on, or like did you hit some bumps in the road when you were actually, you know, in the music business, and then that kind of like, you know, facilitated you to actually be more financially literate? Because you hear about artists all the time talking about they got raped when they first deals, something crazy they get took advantage of. Like, you know, what was your experience?
No, I never really got taken advantage of, but you know, I was really lucky that my parents raised me, and especially my mother raised me to invest and do stuff even when I was 19. You know, I was starting retirement funds and doing things at that age, just to be aware of it. So like I said, again, if you don't know, you don't do it, you know. Yeah. You're not taught, you don't do it. So I think it's as simple as that for me.
Okay, getting back to your music, again, she's here. We're going to premiere her record over here on 929. Won't Come Back. Yeah. Great smooth record. But you know, you said, you know, you got the album EP, you got a project coming up. What can people expect from that?
Ooh, when you drop it? They're going to expect some heat, definitely. And they're going to expect another video, because even if I go single to single at this point, it's going to be a complete package. We want to tell a story, you know. We want to tell a story with all of them, a complete story, kind of like we felt like we did with this one. We wanted to do the video, and I wanted to do a video with this because for people who didn't know me or didn't know what I do or didn't know what a fretless bass was or the difference, instead of just listening to it, it's one thing, you don't know who's doing what. But when you can watch the video and then you can see that I'm actually playing it and it's actually a fretless, I think it has a little bit more value. And then people go, oh, well, she's playing it. Oh, she's singing it. Oh, okay. Now I get it. So I kind of want to do that, and we kind of want to do that for the next ones too. But for sure, it's always risky to come out with a ballad, but I wanted to come out with a slow tune because, you know, I like slow tunes. I love slow tunes. I love it. I'm an R&B girl, but the next one's going to be a banger. Trust me.
Yeah. You know, me personally as a fan, like I kind of miss like the 90s R&B or, you know, the 80s and all that. Like it was like a better word, baby making music. They don't make that no more. Like the rappers try to sound like singers try to sound like rappers. You ever think that could actually, you know what I mean, get back on track to how it's supposed to be? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so that's the best way I've ever heard it explained, Mike. That's the business. You're absolutely right with that. That's right. That's everybody's chasing their own tail. It's funny.
Yeah.
For somebody.
Yeah, I'm still playing R&B out from the 90s over there. Like, man, somebody got to come with something new nowadays. But
yeah, but it's still good. That's great. It was great music, some of the best music. Oh my gosh. And I'm not dissing what's today. You know, everything's different. We don't want to sound like when they were out, you know, when we were listening to stuff, that's garbage.
Yeah, I try to be mindful of that too. I was like, I want to sound like an old fogey over here, like about the good old era and stuff like that. So I feel you on that.
But it does seem like what comes around goes around, you know.
Yeah.
We think taste for, and we were spoiled definitely in the 90s. That was, to me, just some of the best, definitely R&B. Well, can't say, well, this has always been great, but that's some of the best R&B I think there was, definitely.
Yeah. Oh man. So give everybody your info, you know, how they could check out, you know what I mean, your Instagram page, your social medias and stuff like that. Give everybody your info so they could follow you, check in on what you got going on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike. My IG is Rhonda Smith Bass, and I'm just going to spell it RHONDASMITHBASS. My Twitter is at Rhonda Smith Bass. Now I'm going to make it easy. My TikTok is at Rhonda Smith Bass. I have two Facebooks. I have at Rhonda Smith Official, my Facebook, and then I have Rhonda Smith. Yeah. And then I have my website, rhondasmith.com. And of course, my YouTube channel. Come and love this video. Give this video some love and be back for this Black Friday B-side drop video.